Hi Sanjay. My blue floral curtains part 2 and the bus goes in water. I never had any intention of taking out this story so soon. Part 1 of the story I ended abruptly with a suspense. I was actually very apprehensive because that was the first story and I shared my hesitation that I was actually scared of doing this story because I don't know how will I do and I'm putting it in public domain. But then by evening, when I started getting comments from my friends that no, you don't be scared, and this is what you have said in the video. But yeah, we are telling you, we have seen it. Yeah, it is better. Just improve on this, improve on that, and some very good suggestions. So that and but every comment ended up with only one thing: what happened thereafter? We can't wait. Upload the story. So there was a reason actually I had ended that story because there is a small, beautiful story which actually comes out of that story which I wanted to take on. But the type of messages I was getting, what happened next, upload it tomorrow or upload it earliest, then I thought, ki, let me make an exception. Let me make this video today and upload it. That's why I call this the My Blue Floral Curtains Part 2 and the bus goes in water. Now, remember 3.5 months back when I had gone for the first time to Arunachal Pradesh for the deployment and that first story, how that entire story was. After 3.5 months, when I'd come back with that truck journey in the night and very cold, and all of us stuck to each other and sleeping, and a canvas, pulled over our bodies to protect our. Somehow we had reached at 11:30 in the night and I was dropped at the officer colony. And my struggle to find my own house, and finally my elation when I found out my own house, that I have already told you there. And what happened finally? I found a lock. That actually started the second series of shock. What the hell do I do now? Where do I go? Though I wasn't much in panic, only for one reason. I knew that the senior ladies of the unit would be taking care of her. But then there were four. What do I do in the night? Where do I go? Whose door do I knock to ask where she is? Finally, the answer was very simple: start with the commanding officer, senior most. He is responsible for everyone when the men folk aren't there. So I mustered courage, and it was not very difficult to find out his house because there were very limited colonel's quarters. And I was able to make out that house, second from left somewhere. So I went and rung up the bell once, twice, thrice, and the commanding officer's wife, she opened the door. And thereafter, it was, oh my God, and those surprises. And I said, no, ma'am, I went home and the door is locked. I said, any idea where is Savita? She said, don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, Savita is here only with me. She just shouted loud, Savita, Sanjay is here, come, come. So I think it must have taken about 2, 3 minutes for her to get ready and come. And in the meanwhile, she said that her husband, that is commanding officer, my commanding officer, he had to go on a temporary duty for about 15 days. And then she was alone. So she just asked Savita that why don't you come here every evening and sleep with us here? So just two of us. My husband is not here, yours is not, so come here. So whole day you can spend in your home and evening come here every day. So that was a good company Savita got. So every evening she was there and they would pass their time. So finally I found her, held her hand, and then from there we came home, opened that lock. The things in the house seemed so strange. There was a roof, there were walls, the floor was plain, it was even. I did not have to bend down to enter. I could see things. I did not have to grope around to see. That is what 3.5 months had done to me. I would bend every time I had to go through a door. Most of the times, I would actually be searching for things with eyes closed. It took so much time. But then, yeah, there's another story that will come out of this later. And then here I was in my house. So I switched on the lights. As soon as I switched on the light, the tube light was on, and my drawing room glowed. And hanging around all my drawing room walls were my blue floral curtains. That's it. And here is the takeoff for the second story. The second story actually starts from the first story itself. Remember 3.5 months back when I had gone there, I told you I had crossed Brahmaputra. The first time when I'd seen Brahmaputra from the bank, I was totally surprised at how can a river be so wide. You could not even see the other bank. If you Google today, the width of the river in at Dibrugarh is 10 kilometers. During rains, when the river is full of water from bank to bank, it breaks the bank, and either 5 to 6 kilometers either side, it inundates the entire area. The whole thing looks like a river. And here in Dibrugarh, there was a army engineers unit which used to have a raft called RPL. Just have a look at the photograph first, because you will not understand the story unless you understand what a RPL is. So yeah, that was RPL. Now this RPL has got a big ramp in which the vehicles can drive in. This photograph is taken from internet and some old RPL. The RPLs we had, it could take 4 trucks, big army trucks. 2 trucks could drive in, park, another two behind them, park, and thereafter ramp will be pulled up, and the whole RPL along with stores, loaded men would cross the river. This was required because the troops had to move across Brahmaputra very frequently and there was no bridge nearby. So when I had gone for the first time and crossed Brahmaputra, that time I realized that no one could go straight from bank to bank. He had to go through deep canals, channels inside the river itself. There are huge number of channels inside the river and with sand islands that one has to actually crisscross in zigzag way, continuously keep on taking that raft to reach the other side. A normal crossing from point A to point B straight line, if it takes 1 hour, here it would take 3.5 hours. And then I realized the complexity, and then I had decided while going there, if I ever get a chance, I said I'll get Savita and show her. She was a civilian. She had never seen anything in her life. So for her, this is going to be one of the biggest novelty that she will ever see. And that's how after a couple of months, one day on a Sunday, I took the scooter. That was the RPL day. RPL used to fly only thrice in a week. So I took the scooter. I drove down to Dibrugarh, 45 kilometers away, and went to that unit and parked my scooter over there. And they said, "Sir, you're too early for RPL. RPL does not take off 3 hours from now." I told them, I said, no, I intend to take the RPL on the way back. I said, I'm crossing it on my own. I said, I'll just take a civil ferry. We just want to enjoy that and on the way. So we just parked over there. We took a civil ferry, and civil ferry was typical civil ferry. I think 150 people, and from goat to cattle to grass to anything that you say. Everyone beetle chewing guys, and it was full. So we enjoyed our trip. Very slowly, it kept on going from channel to channel, so channel to channel, and it may have taken about 2.5, 3 hours to cross. Other place side was Sonari Ghat. So we got down there, took a vehicle, just got a lift. We went to the transit camp, which was few kilometers away. The aim was to just go freshen up there, look around, have lunch, and along with the transit people who are coming back to Dibrugarh, come back to Dibrugarh. It was just a trip like that to see Brahmaputra and transit camp. So it was all uneventful. We went to the transit camp, had our lunch, and thereafter everyone was in the bus. There were about 8 to 10 families, and there were 8 to 10 men. and officers, I was the only officer with my wife. So we took the seat which is exactly behind the driver. So bus drove to the bank, and after a while we all got down. The bus drove inside, and inside the RPL it parked on the right front side. He put the handbrakes, and the driver got out. The bus was actually facing the crew station and the crew quarters. So it was actually facing a blank wall, iron. And on top, on the first floor, was the crew station with all the controls. And there was a small stair from the rear side to climb up. So the sight to me was sitting at the seat behind the driver. In front, I couldn't see anything because of the driver's seat. And whatever else I could see through the windscreen was the wall of the quarters of the RPL crew. If I look towards the right, it was massive expanse of Brahmaputra and the bank I could see. On the left side, I could see the balance RPL. On the side, raised side about 2-3 feet, and thereafter expanse of water. And there were people moving there. The families had got down, some had got inside the bus, some went in, some were standing there enjoying the breeze. We never went out because the sun is so sharp over there. It eats into your skin. We were comfortable inside. And then the time came for the RPL to go, and we had got both talking also. We both were looking out from our side in the window, the entire Brahmaputra. So the RPL, in order to remain perpendicular to the bank, it had to have the engines on a high rotation. So it would push. So whenever it had to leave, they would just bring the engine RPM to zero, and the water flow would suck the RPL inside the stream. And once it got into the stream, they again got their generators, the motors on, and the RPL would be on the way. So there was a sudden quiet whenever the RPL had to go because the engine would go down. And that's where the small story started. Savita was sitting next to me. I was there, and suddenly the roar of the engine finished. The water took the RPL in its lap and sucked it inside Brahmaputra. While we were looking out like this, suddenly from nowhere, it seemed that our entire bus was moving because the only thing we saw was the frame from the window, frame of the window. And it actually, for a moment, gave you a feeling that the bus has started moving because there is nothing else you are seeing. And before I could do anything, Savita, top of her voice, screamed, "Sanjay, the bus is going in the water and there is no driver." I took a second and I just held her hand, very squeezed it. I said, "We are on the RPL." And then it hit her. Then she was so embarrassed. And the way she had screamed, everyone who was standing on the deck outside the bus enjoying, everyone turned inside. Everyone was staring through the window. People started laughing. Everyone started laughing. And Savita, out of embarrassment, was red in the face, would not look anywhere. I started laughing. Then she gave me a shut up call as to why am I laughing. And you know, as a good husband, I held her hand. I said, "Theek hai." I said, "Keep quiet. We'll finish this journey." She did not enjoy that journey at all. She kept on looking out, trying to hide her face. And when we approached that other bank, everyone started coming in, some due to sun, some because they wanted to sit. There was no other place to sit. And every time someone would come inside the bus, they would stare at her. I had to protect her. I would stare back so that they take off their gaze, and somehow, and they would always have a smile on their face. The only promise Savita extracted out of me was that in lifetime you will not tell this story to anyone. You will not tell this, you will not do this. And we were newly married, so I made all the promises. Okay, I will never do that. And but private, when it finished, we went to the bank. We were the first to get down. Quietly, without stopping, we went to the place where our scooter was parked. We just took the scooter and drove off without looking back. The embarrassment was big, and those words still ring in my ears. It was in Hindi. Bus pani mein gayi. And then we started laughing. And then it became a joke, and it became a reason to cry whenever I would tease her. After a couple of years, I told her, I said, this is worth telling everyone. She hadn't matured by then. It took another couple of years to convince her. Then one day, after about 5, 6 years of marriage, she agreed. She says, "Oh, okay, but you have to." I said, we were kids. I said, let people enjoy. And then I told to my parents, my brother, relatives, and then we used to have a nice laugh. And then I started spreading. It became a party talk also. I would tell this in parties, and we all would laugh, and we really enjoyed thereafter. And I used to tell Savita, there is a day. I said, I'll write this. I never knew it is going to be like this. This is the first time I am telling this to anyone for that matter. That was Savita for me. That was Savita for you. She's passed away, and Savita means what? Sun. The sun never sets. She'll make us smile always. Bye bye.